Wow. All right. So basically, I just want to thank you, Eliza, for being with us tonight. As I was saying before I started the recording, that this was just an opportunity for a very early opportunity for early returning gardeners, and for those some who had submitted an interest in applying to be gardeners at Montview to participate in the steering committee. So here comes May May. And so what is the steering committee? The intent for the steering committee is that I would like to have a shared governance structure at the garden, which means that it'll be me as the garden steward, who's always going to be the liaison to Denver Urban Gardens. And then I would like to have at least two gardeners in the yard, that are actually gardening in the Montview garden, to be a part of that steering committee, which just means I want to have others, that because I'm actually a gardener in the yard as well, to have ownership of some of the decisions that were being made. Last year, I tried to convene the committee, didn't get enough. First year back, I didn't get enough engagement because I would like to have at least two gardeners, people that are in the yard, literally. As members of the steering committee. I see you, May, welcome to the call. I did also make one seat available for anyone else that is interested in supporting the Montview Park Community Garden, and I'm just going to have a maximum of 5 seats. That's the vision. If it's just me and May, then there won't be a steering committee. She'll just, because she's gardens actually in another yard, right? But she comes and serves as a steering committee member. Let me see, since I'm recording, I'm just going to go ahead and say some things since I have you, and we'll have that information, right? So that's the purpose of this meeting, was to give information to those who may be interested in serving as steering committee members. I mentioned already that I would like that steering committee to consist of the garden steward, which at this time that would be myself, 2 other gardeners, that are in the yard, and a maximum of 1 other community member, I'm calling it, someone that's not in the yard but has an interest and cares about, the well-being of the Montview Park Community Garden. Those duties and responsibilities would be basically, they will support the community growth plan, which I didn't intend to share that tonight because there will be an all gardeners meeting once, more applications come in and more people are engaged. They would support on common unity days, which are just our community service days. All of the days, the initial days are already on the volunteer hub. You can see the dates through August, but we have dates through the first week in October already up there. These steering committee members will support at our annual celebration. This year, that will be on September 9th. And all of the common unity dates will come in a flyer. The same flyer that's on the Facebook page will, be sent to the gardeners. They will support with their own ideas for community engagement and fundraising. They will support. There will be a support, run budget support and voting members, which means that there are some decisions around money that can be made. And that my intent is that those people who choose to engage the steering committee members will be the ones to help me make those decisions as to what, what purchases we would make. Purchases like what? Well, we had our BII funds paid for a couple of Juan Post deliveries, but I saw that we paid for at least 1 Juan Post delivery. For those new viewers that'll be watching the replay, that is a company, a woman-owned company that takes away yard waste and they turn it into compost. We also had let me see, that was the main thing that we really paid for. There's other things like lime bags, nutrition, and so then soil amendments. We're going to have more containers at Montview Park this year. I have intent to have 1 common unity plot be set up so that we can demonstrate container gardening even in a community garden. For those that'll be watching the replay and that are new to Montview, I am a professional urban garden coach. And one of the intents that one of the things that I'm attempting to do at Montview is to let it be a learning environment. So when people come into the yard, when volunteers come, we can say, oh, these are the green crops and these are the hot crops, and this is what square foot gardening looks like. So that's the big plan if more people are able to engage and support, right? The other things that we would have them do is, so then I'm looking to establish an orchard team. And so we have trees at the Montview Park Community Garden. I just realized literally last year that those are cherry trees right outside the gate. You're looking at an image of the garden. If you guys, am I still sharing this screen? Yes. Of the yard on February 14th, and right on the other side of that fence that you see are 4 cherry trees. So we have 4 cherry trees, 2 peach trees, 1 pear tree, 1 apple tree, and 1 apple tree that the Denver Urban Gardens permaculturalist Creighton said it's diseased, so we need to cut it and get it out of the yard somehow. Figure that out. We'll also need support with the farm stand. Attempted to set up dates to convene a farm stand last year at the garden, and did not get a lot of traffic. But that's relative to, it's new to the community. What do you mean a garden? I mean, a farm stand. Is there a garden in the neighborhood? So the intent, the fact that we even convened it all was satisfying enough for me. We will decide. My intent with the steering committee, who I am addressing, those who may be interested, right, is that they would support with those farm stand duties. And I'll talk more about what that looks like as we get closer to the what I'm calling the season opening meeting with all the other gardeners. Let's see. Then that's really all I had to say. I just wanted to share that. I wanted to answer any questions that anyone may have. I will briefly share an image of, see if I can do it. Start clicking things. Interesting things start happening when I start clicking. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Yeah, you can see that. All right. So it's not really large though. Shoot. What I'm trying to show you here, here we go. Okay, Mama Ote. Yeah, start clicking things. I'm sharing an image of the garden. And so what you're looking at there, Eliza, everything that's orange. Now, may know this. I think I switched the colors up. Everything that's orange are community areas, right? So if you see a solid orange plot, that is a plot that we are growing production crops in. So production crops, last year we had lots of tomatoes, we had hot peppers, we had sweet peppers, we had onions. We have a whole list of things that we had. We had eggplant. So those are the things that are growing in those solid orange plots. The plots that are orange with an outline are pollinator plots, right? So the pollinator plots are just the flowers. I wanted to have intentional flowers there. And actually, the one that's down here, can you see my cursor? No, yes, you can. All right, so that cursor this is like these 2 plots can be actually cut flowers if we decide, how hard we're gonna work. As I have mentioned in a previous video, the steering committee can just be responsible for just keeping the maintenance of the garden. That would be enough support in addition to the other community gardeners. That would be enough. The extra would be to have an orchard team. I was talking about the trees, and you see everything over here on the far left. Those T's are numbers for the types of trees. I mentioned the darkened in orange are production plots. The outline orange are pollinator plots, which are community plots or areas that we share. You'll notice down here in this area, that's the compost system. Probably not going to work a 3-bin system, but we are holding compost in those bins. And so we have a whole list of chores for us to do. The green you see, the dark green, are plots that are already paid for. So we already have 3 plots already paid for. I'm excited for that. And then the ones you see with the stripes are RSVP. So those are gardeners who came last year and said they're coming back this year. Okay, so that's what we have going now. I had expected a few more people in the meeting today, but that's fine. I know that May Malia is willing to serve as a steering committee member. She's part of the training group. She actually wants to learn how to manage a whole entire community garden. So that's one of the reasons why she's, engaging with me in the process. So I'm excited about that. And Liza is here from Doug. Doug, I know it's just myself and May. Did you want to just say anything or wave to us? I know that you'll join us sometime throughout the season, but if you want to just, say something since we're recording and you're here, so happy that you're here.
Yes. Hi, Malia. Hi, Sister Ote. Hi, everyone who might be watching later. So I'm Eliza. I work for Denver Urban Gardens. I'm staff on the gardens team. And the scope of my work is to support the people within the community gardens. So I support our volunteer community garden leaders, our garden stewards, help the gardens in that way. And I also manage our seasonal Doug Corps, which are our seasonal workforce who will be available to come and support the garden if you have extra needs. So there'll be one person assigned to the Montview Park Community Garden, and we can help plug in that way. But yeah, I'm always here to chat, to answer questions. It was awesome to see Malia at the symposium, and I'm excited to be working with you all this year. And you're so organized, Sister Oche. This is awesome. You're just going. Do you think, is it so the plots I see here, so you have a few open still?
I do. So okay, I have cool. So I had 3 gardeners that pretty much like abandoned their plots, right? So that's 13, 20, and 21. So, we're not worrying about that. But I'm going to save those until the end because I'm calling them abandoned because they didn't come and clear them on time, but they may show up and try to rent it again. So I'm going to wait on those. But yes, Urban Symbiosis had rented 4 plots and really pretty much overextended himself. So that's why I have even more that are available. Like number 3 and number 4 probably had the best soil in the place because that's where James was gardening. He put some really, really nice amendments on those plots. So yeah, that's what's going on here. I always expect, to fill the plots up. This year, I'm actually like soliciting. I'm trying to see if I can get the youth department from the Aurora NAACP to lease a plot, So I'm trying to engage that, but I don't tend to do really anything differently, than I did last year. Last year, my intent was just to build systems and relationships. And so I'm going to continue to even build on those previous relationships, which is the food justice, Northwest Aurora piece. Obviously Denver Urban Gardens, the gardeners in the yard, and actually the gardeners that one of the ones that paid for their plot, they live right across the alley, which that's the vision. I want them to be able to come right there, to be able to support their community garden. It's my garden too. I'm in the community, but I'm I'm like at the opposite end of what's considered Northwest, where I'm like at Chambers and 13th. So I'm like at the total opposite end, a little bit of distance. So that's really all that I had. I don't want to go into too many details around the growth plan because I'm going to share that when the other gardeners are here. The reason why that matters is, and the growth plan is only as relates to the production plots. And that's just so that those who are able to support can know what's going on in the plots. Did you have anything you wanted to share or questions? Oh, also, we're going to get a pergola this year.
Yes, and I will follow up with you with more info. So as far as I understand it, the contractor, in order to set the concrete, it needs to be 50 to 60 degrees. So it'll have to happen a little bit into the spring, but I will be in touch with you we'll just have to mark out exactly where you want it. And I saw you already had some plan around that, and just get an exact date from the contractor, but we will make it happen this spring.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm sorry, May I asked you if you had a question, and then I started talking again. You have anything?
I mean, we could talk later, but it was about, like the growth plan, other documents that you shared with me that I wanted to talk through.
Okay, nice. And so what she's talking about, Eliza, and for those who will be watching the replay, is I have shared this map. I have shared a document that's called the wish list, which is whatever we can imagine we could even imagine we would want in the yard. It's called a wish list for a reason. And then my intent was the steering committee would work together, the jam board or somewhere to prioritize those needs. Basically, you know, just supplies, like we want to get more soaker hoses. It's just a really simple list. And I also will share with the steering committee members an ability to view the budget, because we're going to have transparency. That's one of the reasons why I want to have a steering committee, because I like to be in charge now. I don't have any problems being the boss. I like being in charge, in fact, right? But this project to me, be more fun for me, even, and engaging if more people put their brain power into it, contributed their creativity. Because I can come up with a list of things to do, that's kind of what I'm good at. How we won those awards, but other folk can bring like all those fun things that they did at Nome Park. I thought Amanda was coming up with those ideas, but it was one of her gardeners. And all she had to do was just, support it. And so in case there's anyone in Montview, that wants to engage, I want to make sure I give that opportunity to them. So that's all I had. We only went 20 minutes. I don't want to, hold up our time. May, I'll call you, matter of fact, so we can talk about some things this evening. Thank you so much for joining us, Eliza. I'll keep you posted, let you know when we have our big garden meeting. And I believe you said either yourself or a core member will be able to join us in that. And I think that's it. The video I was sharing at the beginning of the Zoom for those replay viewers was just, I did an update video on February 14th of this year in the garden. It's just showing, the garden really just is at put to bed. And that's it. That's all I had. That's all I have. If you all don't have anything, we're going to hang up. Thank you so much for joining us. And she calls it organized. That's that Asperger's syndrome kicking in. I have to express my special brain. I just let it be itself, right? So it looks like organization, so that's good. I appreciate you. All right, take it easy.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. I'll call you, man.